Hey, what's up, everyone? John here, Chief Motivator over at Method 3 Fitness. And I'm excited to bring you another digital learning experience, this one on improving the way you think. And this is one of the most exciting times of the year for me, personally, because I love talking about goal setting and looking at the year and struggling to go through a bunch of questions. Some can be easy, some can be difficult and challenging. But I really find that going through the questions I'm about to share with you are super, super helpful. And to be quite honest, most people don't take the time to ask themselves these questions. And so I feel like what it's going to do is help you guys set the course for not only better health and fitness, which, yes, we help you out with, but also just getting better at all the different areas or roles in your life. Because, you know, we got one shot at this thing. And it's my hope that at the very least on an annual basis, you're taking some time to think about these things, reflect, count your wins, but also think about areas that you want to improve and what the next year looks like so that you are grateful and recognize where you're at, and you are, you can be happy with that. And not to say that you can't be happy, but you can be happy with that, but that you're always striving at least for some type of progress, right? Not to say that you're never not good enough, because I want you to recognize your wins and see how far you've come and all the great things you've done, whether it be in health or fitness, your career, your kids, or whatever. But I also think there's something to be said about not being complacent, not thinking, okay, you've made it, because that's when we stop growing as people. So these particular questions I actually got to share with my team just recently. It was an awesome exercise and made them go deep, and I hope you get the same value out of it. So these are also listed on the blog that you'll see below. So if you want to copy and paste these to a document, all I ask is that sometime over the next week or so, when you may have a little bit of time off, is just take an hour. If you have more time, great, but just take an hour and get through these questions. I don't care if that means, going somewhere and putting the kids in a little bit of childcare, dropping them off with grandparents, talking with your spouse or significant other, getting out of work a little bit early, taking a day off or your PTO, whatever it is. Take some time and answer these questions, please. Trust me, you will get a lot of value out of it. The biggest thing is making sure that after you've answered them, you've actually put them in a good place where you'll kind of see them. So that is all. That's my initial part. Let's get into these questions. So number one, what were your biggest accomplishments in 2019? What were you most proud of? And I don't want you to think about just the superficial things like I don't know, I got a new car, or, those are great things. You can talk about those things, but what else are you really proud of? Maybe it was your consistency in the studio, right? It doesn't have to be a certain metric of weight or body fat per se. Maybe it was you fit back into a pair of jeans or a dress. Maybe it was that you just honestly have felt the best you have in years, or you got a promotion to work, whatever it is. Write them down. A lot of them you may find they're not even necessarily related to, business or health. They're just in various aspects or roles in your life. Number two, what does success look like to you in 2020? What does success look like to you in 2020? So fun to say, 2020. Felt like the future years ago. Now it's here. And what I want you to know is this is your definition of success, not anyone else's. There's a lot of people out there that will guide you toward what their philosophy is on success. I think, my philosophy is that as a coach, we're here to help coach you on your journey. And we are here to help you at least understand, what makes a good, not just weight, because it's not about the weight, but body fat percentage or strength or certain goals. Like that's what we're experts in. So we can help you craft and create certain goals that will align you with better health, better strength, better vitality. So ultimately, it's your goal. So make it what you will, but I want you to think about what success looks like to you in 2020, not just from a health basis, but anything in your life, right? Is it more family time? Is it more fun? Is it more adventure? Is it consolidating and doing less? Completely up to you. Number three, how do you envision your business and personal life a year from now? What is your 12-month best outcome? Right, so this is more of a visualization question. and it's projecting the future. So if you want to think about it, it's like you think about it that it's now a year from now, and you're reflecting back on the year and how awesome it was. What has to have happened to have made it the freaking best year ever, right? Get specific. You establish what success looks like, but how does that translate into an average day or week? What does that look like? How is it going to be different? Right? It's exciting stuff when you think about all these great things. So number 4, what 3 to 5 areas need improvement to make that happen? Right? And I say improvement because we're not perfect, right? None of us are. And that's okay. We all have our vices. We all have things that we're good at, not good at. That's all right. But what needs to improve? What's got to change in order to get you to this next level for this upcoming year? And change is something I think that we, a lot of us, can be fearful of, right? We get set in our ways. We like our routines. We like how things work, and change can throw us a little bit. And so I really want you to think about, how can you embrace change? How can you embrace some of this discomfort? Because some of the things you're going to need to improve, they could be habits that, I'll be frank, aren't fun to improve, or are challenging or tough or difficult, right? But it doesn't mean they're not worth it. And in most cases, it's really worth it, right? When you get through to the other side, through that discomfort, through some of those things you've improved, and now you're better as a result, or better at these certain things or habits that are engaged in your lifestyle, it's usually always good things, as long as the habits themselves are obviously good. So number 5, what needs to be eliminated from your life or actions to make that happen? So that's an important question, because so many of us like to add, right? More kindling to the fire, right? Keep the flame lit. That's great. But if you have too much kindling, you're just trying to do too much stuff. You do too much stuff, you're just going to stress yourself out. So what needs to be eliminated from your life or actions to make that happen? Be honest. Think about the hard decisions you can make to live your best year ever. To eliminate, right? Maybe it's more television you need to eliminate. Maybe it is, I don't know, maybe it's social media time. So think about the things you need to eliminate. And sometimes it's also good to think about, in terms of elimination and consolidation, what's the one thing, a great book, I think it's Gary Keller, The One Thing. And his question in that book is, what's the one thing that by doing it will make everything else unnecessary? So think about that as you think about some of the things that could be eliminated from your life to make, again, all these great improvements happen, to then get you to that best outcome, right? To get you to that success. What specific actions can you take to make it happen? So here's where we kind of take these theories of things we want to improve and get practical. So what steps are you actually going to take to make it an amazing year? My suggestion is to break it down by quarter or even by month. Don't get overwhelmed by what it is as you're landscaping this, right? This is a roadmap. That's all this is. And guess what? Roadmaps change, right? There are accidents, there are road closures and weather and things like that that force you sometimes to change your journey and how you're going to get there. But the most important thing is actually identifying where you are now and where you want to go, right? You got to hit that roadmap. So what does it look like? Keep it simple. I personally think that sometimes one specific focus each month works well. You can look at it each quarter if you love doing the Q1, Q2, whatever it does, and then build on that each month and each quarter to get to this awesome year that you want to have. Now, if you've done that, I want you to think, what would 10x actions look like? And what I mean by that, there's a great book by, now I'm forgetting, Grant Cardone, The 10x Rule. And he's a little bit on another level with the actions he takes, but he has honestly a great, story. And his thing is he's going to outwork people. Now that could be, when he says that, he's going to take more action and do more things. Yes, he is obviously working a lot, but he's also really good about what does that 10x action look like, to get to this point where he wants to be, let's say in a business, he knows he can't do it on his own, right? It's impossible. So what does he do? He delegates well to his team. He trains them on certain processes. So in order to make the impact that he wants to make. So take that for you and think about, okay, what would 10x actions look like for improving my health, getting to a better weight or body fat or strength, improving my finances, improving my business, becoming a better spouse or improving my relationship. And what that forces you to do, what this question forces you to do as you're hopefully just writing things down, maybe listening to my voice, is it forces you to think bigger. We automatically think of kind of what the first thing I should do. Well, I should, I need to make more phone calls if I'm going to improve my sales or whatever it may be. And we think about that, but maybe now when you're thinking, okay, what does think bigger look like? Well, what is still realistic but pushes you outside your comfort zone? What does that 10x action look like? Is it 30 phone calls, right? Maybe initially you thought it was going to be 5 a day. Maybe it's 30 now. But think about how you can take it to the next level. And it's not about achieving that. So what I want to be clear on is that when you look at this 10x action, whatever that would be, it's not about achieving that specific action or even this crazy goal that you may have. It's about the person that you become by trying to follow through and be consistent with the process, right? I know it sounds a little crazy for us goal achievers. We don't necessarily get to mark off that box every time. Like if we're not hitting 30 calls, if that's my 10x action. But if I hit 25, when my initial goal was like 5 or 10, then I'm probably going to get a lot closer to where I want to be in the future by taking that action, right? So think about that 10x action. Now, how are you personally going to grow personally? That didn't make sense. How are you going to grow personally so that you and your business and professional self, and personal self, and everything else can grow? So what are the skill sets you actually need to develop to make all this happen, right? It's great to talk about these things and list them out, but sometimes we don't know where to start with them, right? One of the goals I have is to just have better organization in my personal life. I do a pretty good job of it most of the time. On the professional side, I lack a little bit on the personal side. So what that means to me is just making sure that things are tightened up at home. Everything is organized the way I want it to be, whether that be in the house or our files and folders and finances and things like that, and planning for the future, right? For kids and colleges and all that jazz. I do an okay job of that, but I can do a lot better. Problem is, I don't necessarily know everything about that. So I'm probably gonna have to work with finding out a mentor or seeking out a different expert in that particular area to help me improve on that, because it's not necessarily a strength. So that's what I mean when I say that. What skill sets do you need to develop to make all this happen? What would you like to get better at? And what's going to help you improve in these areas? Number 9, who can support you and hold you accountable to your goals and your game plan for success? Who can support you and hold you accountable to your goals and your game plan for success? Some of you may be thinking, I'll hold myself accountable, John. Possibly. In my experience, that doesn't really end up the best. While we all have an ability to hold ourselves to a certain level that we want to execute at, we're also sometimes our own worst enemy in the excuses or rationalizations that take place on why we didn't complete something. So my advice on this is, ideally, it's not a spouse or a significant other. It could be someone related to you, but I'd say a further, maybe like a second cousin or an uncle that you just chat with on the phone, but has always helped you in life. I don't know. I think really just having some type of accountability buddy who can help you find solutions and help you talk through these things. So they should be, ideally at the same level or so that you're at, or maybe even above you as it relates to the thing you're trying to improve upon, so you can learn from them. But they need to be able to help you find solutions, keep you motivated, and honestly, call you out on your excuses from time to time. So, that's why I always say, even in method 3, we say we're here for support and we're here for accountability. Sometimes you need support. A lot of times you need accountability. We try to marry the two as best we can, right? So you're looking for an accountability buddy to be able to do that with you. Number 10, how will you keep your goals, actions, and vision in the forefront of your mind? So you've written all this out, you've got your game plan, you've got your roadmap. And if you're anything like me, I mean, I am visual to a fault. I'll have conversations with people and be like, I love where this conversation is going. If you can kind of hop on a video call with me so I can see what it is you're talking about, that'd be great. So, some of us are better with just writing things out and having words. Some of us want to draw pictures. Some of us create vision boards, but you need to be able to bring it to life. And if that's just writing things out, that's fine. Maybe it's a timeline of the year, but whatever it is, it needs to be in the forefront, right? So this is how you are going to hold yourself accountable to your plan and not just let it fall by the wayside. Because my biggest fear is that you go through the work, right now that you're doing, and then you lose the piece of paper or it gets put to the bottom stash in the desk or the office. The biggest, one of the things that would literally make my soul sing is that you not just do the exercises we're talking about, but that you put it somewhere so that it's actually going to be seen by you on a daily basis, motivate you, and push you, right, to improve and to get to where you want to go. Maybe it's writing it down every day. Maybe it's taking your top couple things and just writing down those goals every day. Maybe it's posting it to your mirror in your bathroom, or to your fridge, or to your dresser. I don't care what it is, but figure out how you're going to keep your goals, the actions you're planning on taking to improve, the skill sets, the things you need to improve, the things you need to eliminate, and the vision of what that best outcome looks like in the forefront of your mind. Number 11, last but not least. And I'm sure there's others you can think of as well if you want to. Write down other notes to yourself, but I wanted to keep this hopefully somewhat brief. Number 11, how will you celebrate your progress? And it's not about just the achievement of the big goal. That's taken me many years to figure out. You can't just sit here and grind and grind and grind until you hit this huge goal that you set for yourself, whatever that may be. Because sometimes it may not even happen, right? And that's okay, because if I'm taking all this massive action to improve all these areas, I will create a better version of myself. I will put myself in the best position to achieve this goal. And if I don't get there, I'm going to get super close, but it's better than setting my sights down here. However, as you're doing that, it's important not just to wait for this moment up here where you go, yeah, I did it, but actually celebrating progress along the way, right? So what are the milestones? What do those milestones look like? Can you write out what that would be? To be quite honest, if you're taking all this epic action in personal and professional development and you're growing, you need to celebrate these wins because you're doing a lot of work on you, right? And the coolest thing, I think, is that all that work on you starts to permeate to other areas of your life. Because as you become a better you, you become a better you in every single aspect and role that you play, right? Especially if you're mindful of the skill sets or things you need to do to improve in those roles. And the even cooler thing past that is as you start to do that, you influence those people in your life, right? They start doing some of those things. It's the coolest freaking thing ever. So as you go through that process and you're pushing yourself to improve, you need to make sure that you're actually celebrating those milestones along the way, right? Celebrate your wins. Be mindful of how far you've come. It's very important. One of my favorite exercises, one of the reasons, the big reason I do this every year, when I look at where I was at almost 10 years ago and where method 3 is now, fast action training, now method 3, it gives me, I guess, more courage, more willpower, gets me excited, more motivated to keep pushing through. And it's not just the business, it's also how I feel I've grown. It's my personal life. It's how grateful I am that I have an awesome spouse and 3 awesome, healthy boys. But almost 10 years ago, I was unemployed. I had quit a job that I thought I was going to be at for years to come and go run a bunch of gyms. I was unemployed, didn't know what I was going to do with my life. And I quite honestly, I was depressed. Your chief motivator was depressed. And so taking a look and celebrating your milestones and celebrating those wins, and also just thinking about where you started and where you're at now is so important because it fuels and fills your motivational cup to keep going, right? 2020 is a blank canvas. It's primed. It's ready for you. You have the choice to make it as awesome and fulfilling as you would like it to be or not. The power and responsibility is yours and yours alone. I believe in all you guys, everyone watching this. I believe in the power that every single person has inside of them. I honestly think so many of us have so much untapped potential. And it is my job, it is my wish, it is my hope that through doing these exercises like this, you will tap into more and more and more of that and become the person that you want to become. Please let me know if I can help you in any way or support you in any way, or anyone on my team can do that. Good luck with all of this. Let me know if any questions, and let's go rock 2020.